Hey friends, it's me again. I wanted to reach out to you and share. I went to a webinar. I watched an online webinar in the comfort of my home, and when I did so, I learned a bunch of stuff that I wanted to share. Just some tidbits with you. Not everybody has hours to spend. Going to webinars and watching, which took me 2 hours, but I want to kind of summarize what I learned was that the query is really a sales tool, an essential sales tool. And this was the interesting thing to me, if your book isn't selling, question your sales tool, not necessarily the book. And so there were some statistics that were said to us that, in 2018, there were 12,000 book deals done. In 2007, there were only 6,000. So we're on the increase. These agents are looking for book deals, and they're looking for authors. And sorry, my dad's calling. I'll have to call him back. But a couple of things you got to realize is your book, even though it's your book baby, it's a product that you're selling. And so kind of keeping that in line. And the other thing is, like, if you're not getting 80 to 75% response rate, positive response rate from your query, then typically there's something wrong. That 100 to 150 words where you're actually presenting your book have to be the strongest words that you've ever used. And so really understanding that it changes things. So a couple other statistics I found interesting. 80% of Americans have a book they want to write. That's 200 million Americans. Only a fraction will be disciplined enough to finish. So really the difference isn't skill. It isn't even quality. It is discipline. So just kind of let that sink in and realize that, if you have an idea that you're chasing down, that the very least that you have to do to be there and to succeed is to show up. So that's a big positive, because I can show up. I can't always be perfect. I can't always do awesome, but I can show up. Your query is essential. It's the first cut. It's the first thing that gets you cut from agents and publishers. And so you want to make sure that you don't have the basic errors. Like, there's errors that they see consistently, and I'm just going to fly through these. If you have questions, please ask me about them. Formatting errors: no pictures, no font, nothing frilly. It's a business letter. Business. So think business. Second, don't hide info. A lot of people are sending agents to somewhere others, like, oh, check this out on my blog, or go check this out here. Don't send the agents. You get like the 30 seconds it takes to read it, and that's it. They're not going to go somewhere else. So whatever you want that agent to know or that publisher to know, you're going to need to make sure you state it clearly and right on the front end. Get to the point. Don't go into a whole lot of details. That's actually like 2 points that they had. Tell them about the book, why it's worth the agent's time, and how it's sellable. That's really got to be there. Less than 25% do this part right. Less than 25%. So think about that. Like, a lot of people are getting rejected, sure, but what are they doing wrong? You need to be laser focused. Pitch only one book. If it could be a series, don't even mention it. Like, just focus on that one book. They want to know that this is your greatest thing that you're bringing to them. And by mentioning others, it kind of makes them see like you're not dedicated. It's kind of like if you bring a boyfriend and a backup boyfriend to dinner to meet the family, which is an analogy that this Kathy Vierick, that I suggest you follow her. She seems like she's got some really great information. I really enjoyed her stuff. Pitching too soon. Big error. Not following each agent's specific rules. They take that personally. So make sure that you have done your research. And a lot of times, a lot of the rejections are coming from you're querying the wrong agent. They don't take that genre. They don't want that type of book, and so you've wasted all of that energy and research. So if you have angels and demons in your book, you don't want to pitch it to somebody who's looking for like westerns. Get that specific. Make sure you know that specifically about that agent before you pitch them. 9, and this was a big one, is treating all the agents like they're the same person. They want to be treated as unique and individual, just like you do. And so just kind of treating others as you would have them treat you is really important. Know the pertinent details of your book. Like genre trips up a great majority of the writers. So if you're not sure, you should be working in some writing groups that really help you ascertain what genre your book is in. And one of the big mistakes that people are making is that they think genre needs to include what all the bits and pieces that make it up. But if you think about cookies or cake or any number of the baking products that make it go in the baking aisle, right? It's flour. The predominant thing is flour, and so, or sugar. I mean, one might argue sugar, but the reality is you're really just looking for the shelf your book is going to go on. So don't worry about what's in the book. What shelf is your book going to find friends? Is it going to make friends with? That's sorry, my dog's upset with me right now because I'm not letting him out of my bedroom. So genre is a big deal. Attitude is another one. You really can't make it all about you. Don't say it will be the best. You don't know that. I know you want to believe it, and believing is seeing. Yeah, but same thing. It comes across as egotistical. Don't be rude in any communications. Like if you're angry, don't respond. Don't say anything, because that word travels faster. There's very few agents, and they talk to one another, and so you don't want to come up as being a total jerk face. Also, no white lies. Like, don't go in there and say, oh, I've been here and I've been there and I've seen this person, and you really haven't, but you know that they were at that conference. Like, don't do that. Another thing is proofread your query. Like, no, like if there's one thing you pay an editor to do, pay an editor to look at your query. It's probably the cheapest service you can get, and yet it is absolutely something they judge your whole book on. And their thought process being, if you can't get 300 questions or 300 words grammatically correct, what is the full manuscript going to look like? Is this going to be a haul that we can't handle? Do not ask any questions in the query at all. Not one. Make sure your storytelling is on point, and do not include plot points. This is not a chance to tell your story. This is a chance to sell your story. And I think I'm going to end on that note. Again, the lady's name that I went to the webinar, watched the webinar. Her name was Kathy Van Eek. She also has a YouTube channel. She was amazing. If you haven't looked her up before, haven't heard of her, I really highly recommend her. This is me signing off. Thank you guys for listening. Have a great day.